Welcome, everybody, to Somewhere in Vegas here on Spreaker.com. I'm Mark the Q. I am your host. First of all, a little bit of apology. My Trent Carlini episode did not post, just simply because I don't have the file. I am, currently working with our old host, Block Talk Radio, on that. They started deleting old episodes of Somewhere in Vegas, so the first 4 years are kind of MIA. I do have some that are backlogged, but on a different system, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my episodes. I thought they were going to be migrating over to Spreaker, long story short, so we'll be working on that, hopefully, coming up, so I can have some of those old episodes available for you. I guess right now is really, really good in the holiday spirit, I guess, because her documentary right now is now featured on HBO this week. You guys can see some of the most cutest and adorable dogs you could ever see. She spotlights a year in the competitive dog grooming area. Her documentary is called Well Groomed. We have Rebecca Stern on with us right now. How you doing, Rebecca?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's impressive just to say that, what some of these talented individuals do with dogs, and how they transform these dogs from being normal everyday dogs to almost pieces of art as well. I mean, what kind of drew you into wanting to do a documentary about these people?
Yeah, absolutely. And I wouldn't necessarily say that these are all perfectly normal dogs. They're almost across the board show poodles, so a lot of them also have their AKC championships, and they've been very well trained around grooming. But I think that the reason I ended up deciding to focus on them is because the artwork that the women do with their animals is just so spectacular. I mean, you see an image of it and it's instantly compelling. And I ran across it while I was researching doing a short film about dog fashion, basically, in New York City, and completely changed my idea based on just seeing one image. And at that point, I had a million questions and wanted to get all of them answered. So I just dived right in.
Yeah, now you mentioned that they do strictly poodles. I mean, is that just because of the platform's a little bit easier for them to do? I mean, do you know if there's any other dogs that they use sometimes for competitions like this?
Yeah, so they use almost exclusively poodles for competitions, although it really could be any white dog that regenerates its hair often, right? Because they need to re-dye and re-coif the dog for each subsequent competition throughout the year. They use one design for multiple competitions, and they kind of perfect it as they go until the last competition of the year, which is in Hershey, Pennsylvania at Groom Expo. But yeah, it's mostly poodles. Poodles need to be groomed, right? They also have hair more than fur, so it doesn't fall out. It needs to be cut. It needs to be cared for. These standard poodles really need to be washed and combed often. So it's just an easier platform. But that said, if you want to get your dog creatively groomed, it can happen to any dog as long as the dog is black, basically, because they obviously don't do any color lifting or use any harsh chemicals. And you can get little pink tips for your ears, or a purple or blue tail, or anything like that. So it doesn't need to be quite as intense as the competition grooms. It can be something more for your everyday.
So more than likely, the groomers own poodles, correct?
Yeah, so all of the poodles in the film are the groomer's personal pets, and usually for competition grooms like this, because they do it over such a long period of time, it just tends to be personal pets as well. Because, for instance, Adrian's groom, which your listeners will see in the film tonight on HBO, it took her 4 weekends to really get the entire design in, and then they have to perfect it and coif it, change it, and use the judges' critiques to make it better throughout the entire year.
You have to be kind of almost passionate and to be able to do this. And I mean, the dogs have to be trained to sit still at long points of time, I'm assuming, for this as well. I mean, how is it for the trainer and the dog? And obviously it takes years and years, almost sometimes training on both ends to be able to accomplish something like this.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. And all of these women are professional dog groomers as well, so which are the best people to be grooming your pet. And so they've learned how to be dog groomers for a long period of time. They also all own their own shops. So they're small business owners. Their entire life kind of revolves around your pet and their pet and then this art practice. For instance, in the film, you meet Nicole Beckman, and we actually follow her as she buys her first shop and then sets it up and has to kind of go through the trials and tribulations of being a first-time business owner, as well as trying to enter into her very first competitions around creative dog grooming.
It's interesting nowadays, the social media, the ability to be able to show off stuff like this. I mean, there have been a lot of viral photos of people across the planet grooming their dogs to look like different animals. I think there was a one that tried to make their dog look like a tiger so they could fend off any kind of predators against their sheep. I mean, it's really interesting to say the least in terms of getting their artwork out. These dogs and the way that they look out to different people and taking a look and see what they were like. I mean, how's that been impacted the competition? Has it made it a little bit more popular to see some of these dogs, compete at the show?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, while I was making the film, I kept waiting for it to be like a huge social media hit or for it to explode in that way, and it hasn't yet. Although I think that the film has kind of helped to propel that. Well, I think I'm trying to remember the exact numbers, but after we premiered Well Groomed at South by Southwest, the final competition at Hershey that I already mentioned saw like a huge uptick in people that were signing up to participate. But I mean, I think that there's also just a barrier to entry. Like you have to know a lot about dog grooming. You have to know a lot about sculpture. You have to know a lot about art in order to participate in this. So, and all of the novices, at least currently, participate against all of the top of the competition, so it's a little scary too. But I think that the act of creative grooming is kind of made for the internet age. It's so captivating. I was like, when I saw it, I was just so surprised I had never seen it before, and I was kind of like, everyone needs to see this. This is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, just to think that some of these groomers have to have Instagram pages and to be able to show some of their work, to people and all that as well, even if it's just for fun or wanting to do something creative on the internet, because obviously they don't want to share their little trade secrets, especially considering that they have a big competition coming up. They don't want to show off what they're doing against any other groomers, just in case that the other groomers have other plans or know what they want to do. So it's kind of interesting.
Actually, that's an interesting point, because the groomers are all actually really, really cooperative, and I think it's because it takes so long to do these grooms, and they do them throughout the entire year. So after the first competition, everyone already knows what you're doing, so they trade secrets and tips on how to make their groom better with each other all the time. And that was kind of one of the interesting parts about following this subculture as well, is because not only did I fall into a place where they're all women, which is pretty awesome to find a space where the top of everything is a woman artist, but also they're all really cooperative, and so you get this experience of learning along with people and of speaking with people really kind of sweetly and nicely. And of course, it's still a competition, so once you get on that stage, they're all in it to win it, and they're not necessarily going to be the most cooperative during the competitions, but outside of it, I was actually really surprised by how collaborative everyone was being.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost a sorority. They're in it together. And then, like I said, we get the competition, then it's competition time as well. But you had mentioned earlier about the idea of having other competitions as well? I mean, is there are there other competitions that kind of rally up to the big main event, in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, there's tons. So I'd say there's a competition every 4 to 6 weeks all across America. So the year kind of starts at Groom Expo West, which is in Pasadena, California, and then after that, it just progresses across the country, and then it just happens to end in Hershey, Pennsylvania. And and then there's actually a few smaller competitions that happen after that, but Hershey tends to be like the big one that everyone's going for.
Well, some of these new groomers can probably get some of these lower competitions, kind of get get everything kind of taken care of in terms of learning experience and all that as well. Then maybe graduate up to the big the Pennsylvania competition as well. So maybe that ends up becoming a circuit of some sort.
Yeah, no, it does. I like Nicole in the film. I think her very first competition was actually one that happened after Hershey, because a lot of the larger or bigger women in the industry don't necessarily compete there. And then she started doing the circuit kind of in a standard like yearly way. But if you're interested in becoming a creative dog groomer, you can start there.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's an interesting field, to say the least. It's like I said, we see so many creative, ways of how dogs are groomed, or how they use their palette of color, as it were, too. How's it been? I mean, how's that progressed? In your research, how's the idea of it progressed? I mean, is there like, I guess the best way I could put it is the art movements. We had you had realism, you had realism and all that as well. How's the styles been kind of changing up the past couple years?
Yeah, totally. So I mean, I think creative grooming is actually something that started a really, really long time ago. People in like the Elizabethan era used to dye their animals to match their dresses. They would do kind of like dye work on race horses, or doing like very intricate designs in terms of grooming on dogs, cats, and race horses, really, and then also sheep for a really long time. But creative grooming, the way as it is now, really started about 20 years ago. So this is a really new art form. And I say that like right now they're kind of in the realism stage. Everyone is trying to make something that really looks like the other thing. One of my favorite designs, actually, I think it's by Angela Comfy, and she changes her poodle into looking like exactly like a buffalo, and it's like an uncanny amount like a buffalo. It's like, could you imagine seeing that walking down the street? Would be hilarious. In terms of like the next wave of art movement, like who knows, maybe Monet will actually show up, and it'll explode even further.
Now, we talk a lot about the local competition here in the United States. I mean, are we seeing a trend internationally to be able to do this kind of thing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know if you ran across when like the social media storm was around it, but you probably saw all of the dogs being grouped into squares in Japan. This is big in Japan, it's big in South Korea, it's big in Brazil, the UK, really a lot of the places that you might expect.
Well, it'd be interesting to see. I don't know if there was any international groomers that were at the expo or not, but it would be interesting to see if we see maybe the Asians and the Europeans to pick up competitions.
Yeah. I mean, let's do it.
Now, how excited were you? I mean, you brought the film to South by Southwest, and it got a lot of rave reviews when you were down there. I mean, how was it for you to show the documentary to an audience?
Oh, it's been great. So I'm a documentary producer. I've been producing for about 8 years, but this is my first directing role on a feature film. So it's really like my first film, my first like dog baby, and so it's been like very scary to show it to a lot of people, because you never know what the reaction is going to be, but then it's been great across the board. So I've been really excited, and it's kind of a dream come true for like a first time female director to land on HBO. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I'm interested to see what kind of the reactions are this week when the documentary premieres on the thing, and what kind of